set. Oh!
Dude, you saved me.
Let's fucking go! Oh, we fucking hit there, boys. Let's go!
What is up, everyone? My name's Indo, and today I've put together a new video for you guys. We're going to dive right into my in-depth Rampage jungle guide. Firstly, we are going to go over his abilities, how his kit overall works, best in the jungle. Secondly, we're going to go over items on Rampage, what are the best items, how to counter build against your enemies, and some good situational picks there. And then lastly, we will go over some tips and tricks and overall gameplay knowledge that I have acquired from playing, 1,000+ games on Rampage. So hope you guys enjoy this form of content. These videos do take me quite a bit longer to make. So if you would consider leaving a like here on YouTube, I would appreciate that greatly. If you have any questions, just throw them down in the comments below. And I stream almost every single day on Twitch and now on YouTube. So if you guys want to come chill and ask me anything there, you're always more than welcome. Hope you guys enjoy this content. Much love. Peace, peace. Alrighty, so we're going to dive right into Rampage's kit and his overall abilities. I'm just using the Predecessor.com hero tab here. This is a great resource if you're trying to just get a good understanding of each hero. So Rampage, Behemoth, Brawler, become a monolith of might with Rampage, a durable initiator whose colossal leaps and regenerative abilities make him nearly unkillable in the fray. Role that is suggested is jungle, and difficulty is advanced. I do think Rampage's overall kit is pretty simple to understand, but his rock does take a little bit of practice, so I guess that's why they decided to put it as advanced. And let's dive into it. So we got his passive, gain attack speed and health regeneration while in the jungle. While in Behemoth mode, this effect is always active and multiplied by 4. So we'll dive back into what that really means, but mainly here for his passive, try to get value in the jungle. You get more attack speed, which helps you clear minions faster. You get more regen. So if you're trying to choose where to start a fight, it is always ideal to start a fight in the jungle with Rampage. Also a great idea to pop in and out of the jungle for regen. Sometimes you can sit on a fog wall, get a little bit of regen, and then re-engage on the fight. Very strong passive here. Swipe, basic attack, pretty simple. Hold left click, do damage. Nothing crazy there. Pounce, leap forward before slamming down to the ground, dealing damage, while in Behemoth, increase the leap range. So this is a great engagement and disengagement tool. You can use this to jump into the fight, also use it to jump out of the fight. Look for ledges and vertical parts on the map to get the most value out of this if you're trying to escape. Another thing, little tip here is you pounce with right click. If you hit left click, it will cancel the leap early and slam you down, so you can either do damage on someone really close to you, or what I use a lot is when you're farming, you really want to spam all your abilities, use your rock, use your slam, and use your pounce to help wave clear. So just right click, then left click right after, slam down on those minions, get some extra damage. We go into boulder throw, rip a boulder from the ground, throw the boulder, dealing damage and stunning all enemies in its path, while in Behemoth, throw the boulder instantly. So this is his strongest ability in his kit. Has a little bit of takeout time. You gotta pull the rock out, comes out a little slow. It does have a huge hitbox, and for instance, like on the minions, you can hit multiple minions at a time, and it's not too difficult to land because of the size, but it does have quite an aggressive arc. So I generally say aim for around their head-ish, chest, head area. Usually does pretty well. And then obviously the farther they are, the more you have to arc that thing, because it is pretty heavy. It does have quite a bit of drop, but this is his strongest tool. It allows you to be able to engage from, crazy range, peel from your team from range. The better you get at this ability, the more consistent you are, the more value you will have with this hero. In general, setup potential is massive with this ability. So we're going to Rumble. Pound the ground with each fish, dealing damage and slowing enemies. On Behemoth, cooldown is significantly reduced. So, Rumble, this is your best clearing tool. They did change it recently where it does health scaling damage now. You want to be spamming this ability. Not only does it slow heroes, which is good for your engagements, but it just does the most damage for your clear. So generally, the upgrade order that I've been doing recently with Rampage is you max out E, and then you max out Boulder. The reason you max out E is just to get faster wave clear. Paired with items like Overlord, you just have pretty damn good wave clear as a jungler. So, lastly, we have Behemoth, become enraged, grow in size, gaining health, and empowering your abilities for a duration. So what this really means is it empowers all of your other, actual active abilities. So, for instance, your pounce, you jump way farther. You can actually use it to jump from like Fang Pit through a window and escape, or you could, jump in and land in. You have increased max health. You have increased regen from your passive, even outside of the jungle. So you'll always have that extra regen. And then your boulder throw becomes an instant cast, which is really huge because you can just get that thing out immediately, peel for people, set up a kill, makes your boulder much stronger. And then your rumble has a reduced cooldown. So you can just spam more rumbles essentially. But the biggest, little tip there is you become huge. So use your body as, cover for your team or to body block people. Just using that, your size can really be annoying for teammates trying to escape. So keep that in mind. All right, so now we want to go over the items to build on Rampage. And I don't just want you guys to simply copy and paste this. I really want you guys to understand why the items are good, who they counter, why we build them, and really get a full understanding of how to build him overall, not just simply, build the same thing every game. So let's get right into it. So for crest options, there's only really two crests I would suggest going right now. In previous times, sometimes Rampages would run claws. Maybe if you're trying to go very aggressive, you could still do that. But currently in the state of the meta, tanks are just so strong, and these will make you much more durable. So Razorback is what I would call more of your damage option. You gain physical armor, magical armor, and you reflect damage back to the enemy attacking you. So for characters like Sparrow, any characters with high attack speed, this is a great option. Even characters like Gadget and Gadget Ultimate, any constant damage heroes, Razorback is a great counterplay option for. It provides a crazy amount of damage and durability. So I would say overall this build right here is kind of my go-to at the moment. You see Overlord here a lot. I think Overlord is an amazing item for Rampage right now. It gives you a lot of damage. It gives you great wave clear, so you can clear jungle camps faster, which then lets you make plays faster. Can be more active on the map the faster you clear jungle. So this item is great. Gives you a good amount of health and that wave clear taken care of. And then secondly, we got Elefrost. This is what I would consider a damage tank item. It gives you mana regen, which can help for spamming rocks, physical armor, cooldown reduction, health, and empowers your next basic attack to deal bonus damage and then slow them. So the reason I like these two together in more of an aggressive, hard carry kind of build is because Elefrost slows them, also affects your wave clear because it does damage in AoE. So these two together just make you wave clear like crazy. And also lets you secure the gank for your team. So if you like to play very aggressive, I suggest trying this build out. You will be a little bit less tanky than some of the other options with this build, but you can just scale very well. And then we got Tainted Guard. Almost always you want to run Tainted Guard unless for very specific circumstances where you have no one running lifesteal which is almost never because ADCs generally will run Sky Splitter. This is great into Sky Splitter. Any ADC attacking you you'll apply a bleed to them and reduce their healing. So I would say almost always run this item, very strong. Then we have Void Helm. This is a great item paired with Overlord because it has a lot of health, gives you magic armor, and then just gives you bonus healing by 15%, which obviously for Rampage, his ultimate, or just being in the jungle, you have a lot of healing on this hero. So if you're looking for a healthy / magic armor item, this is always a good option for that magical defense. And then we go over here into Frostguard. This is a great item. It doesn't have any health, but it has health regen. And it has dual armor, so both physical and magical. And then it will reduce the attack speed of enemies when they attack you. So paired well, just like with Razorback, this is great into characters like Sparrow, great into characters like Twin Blast, Kira, any attack speed oriented hero. This is a great counter pick option. I wouldn't play it into characters maybe like Revenant or characters that don't have really a lot of attack speed. Maybe opt for something else. That's a great one. And we have Stonewall. This is very simple now, just physical armor, health, and it gives you physical damage mitigation. So this still works against heroes with high burst physical damage. So characters like Crunch, characters like Revenant, characters like Wraith, and really any ADC. This is a great counterplay option to high physical damage heroes. So always keep Stonewall in mind. Don't sleep on that item. And then over here, we're going into more of a healthy, a little bit slower wave clear kind of build, but you will be very tanky with this. Saphir's Mantle is a great item for health scaling builds, pairs well with Overlord, increases your size, and anytime basically does damage in an AoE around you. As long as you're popping that next to an enemy hero, you're going to build stacks with it and then gaining permanent health. So this is the best full tank option. I generally, like a general rule of thumb is if there's no other tanks on my team, I'm the only one, everyone else is squishy, then I generally will run Saphirs because I need to be the main frontliner. Otherwise, usually Razorback, if there's multiple tanks, it's kind of the way I've been playing it recently. But if you can go into this build, see, we go into Tainted early. So why would I go into Tainted early? Well, certain heroes like Chimera, or maybe Crunch with Mutilator, any like strong early game heroes that are kind of becoming a problem for your team, it's great to go into Tainted Guard early so that you can really duel them or fight them with your team better. That's just a great, early option. Sometimes, it's basically balancing. Do I want faster wave clear early, or do I really want to counter that Chimera early? That's kind of the thought process behind that. So we go over to this item, Unbroken Will. This is the best counterplay item for teams that have lots of CC. So characters like Richter, characters like Faye that pull you in with their ultimate, characters like Decker, or multiple stun heroes. You got Steel and a Richter on that team, and a Faye. And then you really should opt to going Unbroken Will. This gives you, every time you get CC'd, like a hard CC, either a root or a stun, it will give you both physical and magic armor increased by 25%. So that's pretty huge. Makes you very tanky when playing heavy CC heroes. So always keep that in mind. If you have a lot of CC, go Unbroken Will. You already know Frostguard. That's a great option to counter attack speed heroes. We already went over that. Same thing with Stonewall. And then we go over here to Raiment of Renewal. So Raiment, often not running it all the time, but it has a lot of health on it and has a lot of regen on it. So if you're planning on invading and staying out in the jungle a lot, this can be a good option. It does pair well with Overlord because it gives you a bunch of health, which will give you that health scaling damage. But my only hesitation on running Raiment is that you're missing out on quite a bit amount of armor. So if you're really ahead and you're just trying to stay out longer, this can be a good option. Just be wary that you will be a little low on armor if you're running both Overlord and Raiment of Renewal. So we go over to this one. This is what I would call a double tainted build. Why would you build double tainted? Well, let's say they have a Chimera and a Countess on the team, or a Morgish, or a Sevarog, you know, magical lifesteal heroes. They got a bunch of lifesteal. They got, you know, Twin Blast with Sky Splitter. They got a Chimera. They have a Countess mid and a Sevarog offline, let's say. That'd be a great game to go double Tainted. So what Tainted Bastion does is it's essentially the magical armor version of Tainted Guard. But the cool part is it reduces their healing when they do magic damage to you. But then you also gain mitigated damage by 3% anytime there's a blighted target. And by the way, blight also counts from your Tainted Guard. So essentially, if they proc Tainted Guard or they proc Tainted Bastion, either way, you're getting 3% damage mitigation. So often, doing that double Tainted strat can be very effective. Go over here, Stone Wall, physical, pretty straightforward. So Crystalline Curious, this can be a great item if you're trying to do more of a speed rundown build. Sometimes I'll pair this with like Elefrost, and so in comparison to Void Helm, it has less health but has more magical armor. And every time you take magic damage, it builds stacks of magic armor, which then also give you increased movement speed. So this could be a very good tool if you want to get some movement speed in your build, and just more magical defense. And then we have Citadel over here. So Citadel doesn't have a lot of health on it, but it has damage, armor, decent amount of health. But this can be a great option if you're trying to help your team shred physical armor. Tanks, let's say they have 3 tanks on their team. They got a Richter, they got a Sevarog, and they got a Steel. I mean, yeah, that could happen. In cases like that, you got to think of Citadel as more of shredding the armor for your teammates. So I don't honestly run this item often. Normally I don't have like 3 tanks on a team, but it's a good option to keep in mind. Gives a little bit of damage, tankiness, and can help shred armor for your team. Also, you gain 5% physical armor depending on how many teammates are near you. So this can be a great like later game team fight option. So then we go into my full tank option here. I haven't been running this, honestly. I've lately been preferring Overlord, but if you want to do a more just straight tank build, you will scale a little bit slower with this build, but you will be extremely tanky. If you do trust your damage and you feel like you can just afford to go, you know, straight beefy boy, then you could do something like this. You go Sapphires into Fire Blossom. Generally, I like to do, if I'm doing this, I like to do the Fire Blossom Ela combo, because then it kind of makes up for a little bit of your lack of wave clear. But you could opt just to go, you know, drop the Elefrost if you want, but this is what I prefer. We go, you know, something straightforward, simple. You can go Tainted Guard, and you can go Void Helm, and then Stonewall. You know, usually there's high physical. And then we go over here. For this build, you could also throw Raymond if you want to just do straight healthy. But Giant's Ring, I don't see this item run too often, but for a more tank, peely, kind of supportive build, you could run this. It does give you a good amount of cooldown reduction and damage mitigation when you pop your ult. So I don't see this too often, but can be a good option if you want to do a little bit more of like a supporty kind of Rampage build here. So that's pretty much it for most of the options. A few other items you could run on Rampage, but I would say this is overall a good starting point. These items are all very strong, and again, I want to stress, you know, try these out. Just know that a lot of these items are great items on Rampage, but you know, depending on the teammates, just see which items, you know, work well into them. I'll give you guys some suggestions, and that will be it for the item portion of the video. Thank you, thank you. All right, one huge tip for Rampage's rock is to either throw it from the fog wall or to hold your rock and follow it up after another player on your team stuns. This will give you overall just more consistent stuns and more value out of the ability. So one mistake that I see many Rampages do is diving the enemy and then not looking for your teammates, your main damage dealers, your mid laners, your ADCs to really peel for them. Rampage is what I call a supportive jungler. His value is insane when you keep your damage alive. So just remember that. Remember, you're a big boy and you're really good at healing for your team. Try to look for interesting ways with Rampage to use his mobility. His leap tool allows you to jump onto verticals like here, get some stuns, just really surprise your enemy. That leap with ledges is so valuable. One huge tip on Rampage is that because of your mobility, your health regen, and your stun, he's one of the best junglers for stealing camps. So try to look for opportunities to take advantage. See here, we get out for free. Took a 2 camp, no punishment. Rampage is one of the most powerful counter gankers. So here the Fae came in and tried to gank my duo lane. I leap right in with that ultimate, increase range jump, secure the kill on the Fae, call out my rock, get the rock, and we turned it around.